Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. Happy Friday afternoon, or maybe it's Saturday, wherever you are. We are thrilled to have you here today. Our show is the United Kitchens, and I am going to bring out our celebrity chef and certified nutritionist, Ricki Mckenna. Hi, Ricki.
Hi, Dr. JACALYN. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my kitchen.
I love your what you're wearing there. Let's see.
That's one of my aprons, and they are purchasable on patreon.com/Ricki McHealthy. And if you'll put that up in the scrolling thing, then people can purchase an apron. It's absolutely wonderful. It's big, so it really protects you, but it's fun too. Because it's like cake whisks.
And very nice.
We will be using one of my favorite little guys today.
Fantastic. Well, I love the fact that you keep expanding. You've got your book. Do you have that handy?
I do. Yes, it is. Yes, you can eat well and eat right. And this is actually the manuscript. It's not quite this big, but it's 182 pages of wonderfulness, giving you everything from history of foods, where foods came from, why we eat them, and what's a good. Each food contains so many vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that are really good for you. There are 19 foods in particular that I suggest buying organic, and some not. You can buy conventionally. And as a nutritionist, I also have in there 30 recipes, one for each of the foods, and a bunch of bonus recipes for those of you who like to cook. So pick it up on Amazon. Right now you can get the ebook for only $1.99.
Thank you so much, Chef. That's fantastic. Ricki, I would love to have you share with our audience, people who are just joining us for the first time, a little bit about your background. Before you do that, I want to say hello to, I'm going to call Nat, one of our super fans. Nat was watching yesterday and has been with us for a few shows. And Nat writes, "This is one of the most motivating channels I've ever subscribed to. Big thanks for all these great live streams." And Nat is a hairdresser, an expert with hair in Las Vegas.
Oh, so, where is he? I need him.
It's Nat's a personal trainer for 20 years, even though she does hair now and still likes to eat mostly healthy food. Welcome back, Nat. All right, Chef, tell Nat and anyone else joining for the first time a little bit about your background and why you're so passionate about combining food and fun.
Yes, food and fun are very important. First of all, we all have to eat. So that's a given. Fun, I wrote into my business plan many years ago. I've been a certified nutritionist for over 20 years. I think it's going on 23 now. And in so being, I have learned lots of things about food and nutrition and how to help people understand, which is my passion, by the way, why food is the basis for your life. It is the basis for your health. It adds to your mood, or it can detract from your mood. There is such a thing as mood food. And I just am totally passionate and crazy about the fact that food is medicine. And that's not, I'm not the first person to say that. Hippocrates and many others since Hippocrates have said that. So with all these years I've had, every year I have to take CEUs, I take more credits. But one of the things I found out about myself a long time ago is I'm a learning junkie. So I keep reading, I keep watching videos, I keep learning more and more about what food really is and what it can do for you. And I'm passionate about the fact that we need clean, mostly organic, from the earth food that actually feeds our body and gives us energy and enables us to have fun. Because when you feel better and you feel great, that's wealth as far as I'm concerned. So I've worked with United Healthcare, I've worked with the American Diabetes Association and other corporations and companies, and I've worked with individuals, still do, and families. And so it's a whole broad spectrum of people because we all eat.
You nailed it, Chef. Thank you. I just want to share, I don't know if I told you this, but one of our team members, Red O'Laughlin, who's an expert when it comes to researching longevity, he's always talking about fasting. And I think his last fast was 180 and a half hours. But I've been doing intermittent fasting as a result of him and you. This is 3 weeks now, 12 hours every day. And on the weekends, 16 hours. So I'm working my way up. I'm going to go to 13 hours and 17 on the weekend starting next week.
How do you feel?
I feel great, actually. I didn't think I'd be able to work out on the weekends. I actually go and work out at Solidcore, which I'm obsessed with that, as you know. And I lift really heavy weight. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to do it. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah. The point of fasting is to give your body a clean slate for at least 12 hours because you're digesting and you want your digestive system to be clear enough, clean enough to be able to digest. So that's one of the reasons for intermittent fasting. And it's quite valid. I'm going to take this off because unfortunately today, my kitchen is very warm.
All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to read some additional comments from Nat. Food and fun, I'm all for it. NASM certified personal trainer and also CES and PES certification, I should say. I worked for several of the major gyms for 20 plus years, also did sports nutrition. And this morning she had organic hummus, multigrain pitas, flax oil, avocado, and whey protein. That's her normal breakfast.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing. Outstanding. All right, Chef, are you going to be, I know you're hot there. Hot flashes.
We're not talking about that, but I may put my hair up. You know what? I don't have the clip. Anyway, we'll just keep it out of the food.
Yes. So what are you going to be whipping up today?
Today, we are roasting cauliflower steaks for a vegan meal. I'm having some guests over tomorrow, and so we're going to be making the roasted cauliflower steaks with black bean and rice salsa. So we're going to start, first of all, with cutting the cauliflower. And I got a monster head of cauliflower. You can see the size of this thing. Woo-hoo. And it's organic. And it suggests in the recipe that this serves 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half. And to make the steaks, of course, you cut it gently. I think we'll use the other side. And cauliflower, of course, is good whether you eat it raw or whether you eat it cooked. But we're going to roast it, which is a little bit different. So I'm going to cut 1/2 inch or almost an inch slice here. Make sure you have a sharp knife. That's my next apron, by the way. Sharp knives matter. I'll bet Nat got a kick out of that. Oh dear. See, this is, okay, we'll make this work. Okay, that's the problem with cauliflower, but we're going to make it work. We've got steaks in here. Anytime you can have a flat, at least we have one biggie, a flat surface with the cauliflower, you can broil it, which is what we're actually going to do. We're going to bake it. But first I have to make a little sprinkle for it. I'm going to spread it on my baking sheet, which I've lined with foil. And I'm going to put a little bit of oil underneath it, just a wee bit, and work that around because I don't want it to stick. I do want it to roast beautifully. My oven is at 400, and I'm going to mix my olive oil with some curry, about a tablespoon or so of curry powder, just plain curry powder. You can use the hot curry powder if you like, but whoop, come on in. We're just going to use, it's a little over a tablespoon, but that's fine because we've got lots of cauliflower. So we take that And then I'm going to whip my oil in there. Always put your oil in last to things, especially when you're making something like a salad dressing or something like this. And it calls for a couple of tablespoons, we're about there, of the olive oil, which I'm whisking. I'm whisking up something good, which is the next apron. And I have cauliflower, and it's going to be coated with, actually, I'm going to break that one in. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it open, the biggie. And I'm going to place the others in here so that we have the steaks spread out so we can coat them with our little mixture here. And I'm actually going to take this one, here we go, and have as many flattened pieces as I can because they'll hold the sauce on the surface. And we'll put a couple of the other pieces in as well. And actually you could take all of this and put it into roast. There would be no problem with that. But right now we're just going to work with these little steaks. And I'm going to drizzle each of them with the mixture of the olive oil and curry powder.
Chef, we have a comment from Nat who writes she loves curry. Can you share with us any additional health benefits from curry?
Oh my gosh, yeah. One of the things about Indian spices or Ayurvedic spices is that they're really very good for you. Especially something like ashwagandha, which is an adaptogen. It's very good, especially for men, which I'm finding out just recently. I'm going to use a little spatula to spread this out, by the way, because I can't find my pastry brush. So we're using a spatula. The curry and the Ayurvedic spices or Indian spices are very full of adaptogenic nutrients, which help your body regulate. For example, if your blood pressure is a little bit high, sometimes even ashwagandha can help to regulate it. If it's a little bit low, it may help to regulate it. That's what it means by adaptogen. And they also stimulate, if you're familiar with Ayurveda, there are 6 tastes. They are sweet, sour, salty. Hello? I've got to get the rest of them. Bitter, pungent, and astringent. And in things like that, we've got astringents would be something like, well, ginger's pretty pungent as well. But astringents are drying, and a food like a raspberry, believe it or not, is an astringent. And then, of course, everybody knows sweet and sour and salty. But the bitter would be something like a bitter, oops. I was going to say bitter melon, but not really. Bitter lemons are more tart, but they are bitter. And the zest from the lemon would be a little bit more bitter. So a combination of all 6 of those tastes are in many of the spices and the herbs from Ayurveda. Okay, we're going to leave a little more of that so we can put it on the other side because we're going to put this in the oven now. And while it is roasting at 400, we will make the salsa. Any other questions?
We've got some more comments from that. Let me just spotlight them here.
Okay.
She writes, it's a good anti-inflammatory, which I need with 3 autoimmune diseases, and it has turmeric and cumin, which can take down inflammation. Which coincidentally, Chef, I told you I was about to take my vitamins and look what I have here.
Turmeric.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was just taking. And she also writes that curry, Indian curry and Japanese curry are very different from one another.
Yes, they are.
Thank you.
Yeah, curry in Indian actually means a sauce. My fiance was very familiar with Indian food, having been to India numerous times, and it's actually what they call sauce. That's called a curry, any curry. So, for our salsa, we are going to combine a number of different wonderful things. First of all, we're going to put in some brown rice, that's already been cooked. And I'm going to do about, I think it's a cup. Yeah. So we'll take a cup of brown rice. And whatever's left over, you can enjoy any way you like. Actually, I might combine the lentils with it, which is what we're going to do in here. So we have a cup of brown rice. And then we have a cup of cooked lentils. And you really should cook these and cool them off. I think it's actually half a cup of the lentils. If I were doing it, I'd put in a whole cup, but I believe it's half a cup. And if I could read, I could find it. Yeah, it's half a cup. So we're just going to figure about half a cup there. And combine those two. And make sure I turn off the burners. I'm going to combine the rice and the lentils. It's an interesting salsa. And I can hear the cauliflower right now in the oven. It is sizzling. So this whole thing could be considered anti-inflammatory, except for the rice, among other things. Now we're going to add a little chopped up onion, or diced or minced onion. It's red onion for the flavor and the color. And let's see how we do that. Interestingly, it calls for only a quarter cup. So we're about there. But we're going to put other goodies and spicy goodies in there. And I'm going to dice it up really tiny, because it is a salsa, so you want some chunky pieces and some tinier pieces. And in so doing, that gives everybody a little variety of flavor and textures on their tongue. And let's see, here we have, that's about a quarter cup. And we'll just put that in. We combine all of these ingredients to make our salsa today. And let's see. The next thing we put in is some diced red pepper. And I've cut about half of a fairly medium to large sized red pepper that I'm going to dice. And you can probably, if you choose, use green pepper or yellow or orange pepper. But the red pepper is so pretty, besides which we like the flavors of the red pepper. And combined with all the rest of these things, the red pepper is really good. And again, it makes it pretty. And if there's nothing better than eating with your eyes to begin with, because that really gets you started. It starts your taste buds watering, your mouth watering, and it actually starts your digestive system working. So here we have the red pepper. And that's going to be a little bit chunkier than the onion. And that should come out to about half a cup. There we go. I'm going to mix that in, the onions, the lentils, and the rice, and the red pepper. It's really pretty. I think you can see it. Yeah.
Yes, we can.
All right. Smells good, too.
I can't say that I know, but I agree. I believe you.
We decided last week, Sherry and I decided that we needed to have smell-o-vision. And of course, we're not the first ones to say that. I'm going to show you my newest gadget. This is an interesting peeler because it has something that will also julienne as I'm going, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to peel the mango the rest of the way and cut it up, chop it up, and put it into the salsa. Now, it does call for, I think, half a cup, but whatever this makes, it makes. And if it makes a little more than half a cup, so be it, because we happen to love mango as well. And I'm using a yellow mango. The yellow mangoes, I don't know if you've seen them, if you have them in your grocery store. They're a little bit different flavor from the green that turn orange when they're really, really ripe.
We have them down here.
Yeah, I figured you did. I know you have mangoes, and you have my favorite, what I used to call when I was a kid, because my grandmother used to have them in her backyard, those giant avocados. And those are, I think they're delicious. They're sweeter in many ways than the other avocados.
I don't know about the avocados, Chef, but I can tell you one thing that the other day I saw a giant snake. So,
Oh, was it eating an avocado? Yeah, not my favorite animal. And actually, we kind of binge watched Harry Potter for a while, and there is definitely a snake in there. And he was not a nice snake. He really wasn't. He was too specialized in eating people. So
I was in the garage working out. I had the garage door halfway up, and snakes
yeah.
started to come in. And
Oh my gosh.
you know,
Oh, what did you do?
I screamed, and my sister's visiting. She came out with a broom, and she got it to go. She wasn't afraid. I'm the one screaming like an idiot. But they have a right to be here, right?
Absolutely. They do eat bugs and rodents, so they serve a useful purpose in the chain. And there definitely is a chain. Okay, here's my mango. I'm going to just chop away at this baby and see how it tastes first. Interestingly, what I find with the yellow mango, they have a slight tinge of tartness to them, which is going to be really interesting in the salsa. And so the reason I didn't get the other kind is all of them that they had in my supermarket, which usually has quite a variety, were not ripe. So I picked this one. And that's another thing. You know, it's really interesting. Sometimes the fruits and vegetables that you get offered to you at the grocery stores are not ripe enough to eat at the time that you purchase them. And that's because they're picked before they're ripe, many of them. And even though they're fresh, they're still better than canned or frozen. But frozen is the next best to buy because most of the frozen vegetables and fruits are frozen at their very ripest. So often I've had to bring home some of the vegetables and fruits and put them in a bowl and let them ripen. And one of the other ways to help them ripen if you're in a hurry is to put them in a paper bag. And for some reason that helps the ripening process. And so just a little tip. Ah, this is yummy. Okay, that's enough.
Thanks to Nat, who's been sharing some tips about snakes. Nat is a snake hobbyist and has had many snakes, lizards, spiders, and turtles. And she has allergies, so she's not into furry pets. We'll have to have you on our show with Pet Psychic Amina, Nat. I think that would be
interesting.
Yeah, that's on at 4:00 today, Eastern.
I think, well, snakes, Nat, if you're still there, aren't snakes considered, they're symbolic of something, and I want to say wisdom, but I'm not sure. I'll just wait and see what kind of an answer she might have.
Well, she wrote earlier that she loves snakes. Only 7% of snakes on the planet are dangerous to humans. The other 93% are harmless. So here's what I want to know while you're cooking. I want to know this from Nat or from whomever. So, you know, we see these, I'm going to pop back in. We see these television shows or movies where this big snake, a yellow snake, you know, big in terms of it's larger than a foot long, but they consume rats or things in one, I don't know what you would call it, but they don't chop it up. They eat it in full. And then some eat humans and take the whole human body inside of them.
Yeah, that's a scary part. I don't know whether those are anacondas or what kind of snakes they are. I'm saving the rest of this to go in a smoothie, just FYI for anybody who makes smoothies. This is cilantro, the stems. And cilantro is an absolute, the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. It's also something that helps you to divest your body of heavy metals. So cilantro, among other vegetables and herbs that we use, all have a purpose in the way of health. And cilantro is one of those. So I'm going to save that for later and
Good to know.
in a little bowl. Yeah, cilantro and parsley also. Of course, everybody knows that parsley helps with your breath to keep it fresh.
Wouldn't it be nice if everyone had some parsley on hand? We've got some answers from that. Snakes are symbolic of change and renewal because they shed their old skin and look new again every few months. And she also writes, capital letters, no, snakes cannot eat humans. That is a myth. Okay, thank goodness. Now when I'm working out, I'm going to just, oh, wait, so I'm sorry. The snake would have to be 20 plus feet long to constrict a human. It's happened to idiot pet owners who starve and mishandle the snakes, and they were not eaten. How about that? Thank you.
I love it. Thank you. Wow. I love that. Okay, and here come the black beans. This is a can of organic black beans that are cooked, of course. I'm going to open them. I'm going to drain and rinse them before we put them in here. And the reason for draining and rinsing them is they have a bunch of starch along with their protein and all the other minerals and vitamins that they have. But you don't want that in the salsa because you want it to, flow easily.
Now, Chef, did you remove the label on purpose so you weren't spotted?
It actually came off. I wash all my cans before I open them because one never knows what has been crawling through the back rooms of grocery stores.
That's smart, really smart.
Yeah, that's something that I've been advocating for years. And here's my strainer.
Yeah. And that writes that people have a lot of misconceptions about snakes because they get misinformed. I think that's true.
That is very true. Yep.
Thanks, Nat.
I used to think they were slimy to touch, but they're not. Their skins are not slimy at all. And I know that a lot of people enjoy snakeskin shoes or snakeskin bags, and they're really beautiful. The patterns are absolutely beautiful. They're an amazing animal.
Well, I'll tell you this. When I was on my gazelle, my garage find, I've talked about this gazelle has been in the garage for about 15 years, and I bought it for my dad. He passed away 10 years ago. So I was on the gazelle, so my feet were up off the ground, and when the snake came into the garage, it lifted its head up and it was looking around, and I didn't scream that time because I saw it look at me, and I just said, I looked at it and I said, please don't come in here. I'm asking you not to come. And it turned around, and then it came back a second time, and that's when I screamed. But I thought to myself, the way they move is so interesting.
Yes, they are fascinating animals. Years ago, I don't remember where it was, I was teaching school, and one of the teachers, I guess it was in the science classroom, had a snake, and they had it in a fish tank. So everybody was invited to touch the snake, and I did. And I was a little bit intimidated and a little taken aback, but I went ahead and did it, and it was dry and it was not slimy at all. And
guess what? Well, she just wrote that. That's amazing that you said that. She just wrote, snakes are dry. They do not produce slime. Their skin is like thin patent leather, and they're a very clean animal. So here's a question I have for you then, Nat. What about getting bitten by a snake?
Different. Yeah. Snake venom, very interestingly, and I'll just tell you this. I was on a field trip with some other nutritionists, and we were visiting a lab that it's actually between Houston and Austin, Texas. And there were scientists working there with snake venom as an antidote to several different things, including, I believe, cancer, which really amazed me. And so the snakes are valuable, but it's of course certain kinds of snakes rather than just every snake. And by the way, if you've got a lime or a lemon that's a little bit hard, roll it around with the palm of your hand on a hard, flat surface, which softens it up and makes it easier to cut, but it also makes the juice come out easier.
Oh, I like that.
Oh yeah, that's an easy one. I'm going to do the same thing with my orange because I'm using fresh lime and fresh orange juice. And here's my fresh juice squeezer, because we definitely have to have lime in the salsa because it's quite thick right now.
Now, is that half of the lime still have use after that, or is it pretty much after you squeeze it, it's over?
Well, it smells pretty good.
I mean, could you use it for something else?
Yeah, you probably could. I have actually put limes and lemons, I chopped them up a little bit more and put them into a smoothie. You can eat the peels, of course, if you wash them first. And it's also good for rinsing out your sink if you want something to smell good, because you can clean actually with lemon and lime. A lot of organically based organic cleaners use citrus.
I was going to say, I put, excuse me, when I'm finished with the lemon, I put the rest of it in the garbage disposal to clean out, to make it a nice smell. Is that a good idea?
Yep, super.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Putting it in the garbage disposal is great. Sometimes you have to cut them up depending on how hard the skins are. But for the most part, you could just put them in there and use them. Yeah, so I think we have about 2 tablespoons of lime juice in there, and I'm going to squeeze a little bit more. And I'm going to do something a lot of people don't do, and I'm going to take some of the lime fruit and put it in there as well. Just carefully, kind of zesting it in there, because that gives it a little bit more flavor. And limes are a sweet tart. Actually, I'm going to use the whole thing, both of those limes. Yeah, because we want the salsa to be nice and juicy to go over the steaks. And right now, I'm going to check the cauliflower steaks and turn them over.
All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to read Matt's comments about the snakes. Depends on your state. If it's a garter snake or a rat snake, those are common and harmless. If it's a copperhead or moccasin or rattlesnake, that can potentially be bad news. And she's been bitten only a handful of times and has handled thousands of snakes. She's never been bitten by a venomous snake, though. Thank goodness. Let's keep that tradition going. So on this one, how do we know if it's a garter snake, rat snake, copperhead, moccasin, rattlesnake? I think they raise their tail and it shakes it, right?
They make noise. Yes.
Yeah. They let you know they're coming.
Oh yeah. And then there's something, I'm not sure if it's a copperhead or which one it is, where you can see they have rings of red, black, and yellow, and they're in a certain order. And they do exist here in Texas. And frankly, when I had one on my back porch because our cats decided to bring home a present to Mama, and it was a snake, and it was red, yellow, and black. And I said, I don't know which order they're in, so I'm just calling somebody, and I closed the door.
Well, I've shared this before. I'm down in Florida now, and first it was the little lizards, then it was the iguanas, and so now I'm welcoming of all of them, but the snake just took me by surprise, because I've been coming here to my mom's for 40 years and I've never ever seen a snake. So, and it was pretty long. It was 2.5 feet long when I first saw it. Now when I tell the story, it's 10 feet long. No, I'm kidding. It's still 2.5 feet long. Let's see what she.
I think everybody can see my pretty.
Let me zoom in. Hold on, let me zoom in.
Wait a minute. That's a little hot. Just a sec.
You have your 2 shots set up today?
No, I didn't because I really wasn't going to use it. But I'm just going to coat these and I'll show you. I can pick it up again. But it was getting hot just hanging on to it. Because as I say, my oven's at 400, so it's a little warm in there.
We appreciate that you're into your work, but we don't want you to be
Yeah.
suffering because of it.
Okay. Here we go. See,
Wow.
beautifully. Yeah. So we're cooking up cauliflower steaks. And so we've got our salsa almost ready. We got everything in there. I just added some salt and the lime juice. And let's see what else we're going to do. We are going to add some minced garlic. I know I took it out. That's interesting. Okay, you'll have to excuse me for a minute while I find the garlic. Because I like all the salsa with garlic.
I'm going to read some more comments. Okay, so Nat writes, red, black, and yellow is a coral snake. Those are really rare, but very obvious. They're shy, but highly venomous.
Yes.
Usually, if it is bright yellow, then it's a coral snake.
Okay.
Learn to identify snakes by eye if you're in a snake-heavy state, which I am, and I think you are too, Ricki. It can save your life or the life of your pet or kid. It also protects harmless snakes. And then many people kill harmless snakes because they don't know what they are. If you lived in a place your whole life, you should know what your wildlife is in the area. Teach your kids too. And she also writes, Florida and Texas are some of the most snake-heavy states. Yes. So guess what I'm going to be doing tonight? I'm going to look up snakes, look at their pictures, and then I'm going to study it like I did with the iguanas.
That's great. Well, iguanas are wonderful. It's funny because when we had the freeze here in Texas last year, we used to have tons of those little wonderful, here I'm chopping up garlic. I decided to do it by hand rather than use the garlic press. We had tons of those wonderful little lizards, and I say wonderful because they keep the bugs at bay. They munch on those bugs and they keep them from getting to us. But after the freeze, darn near 100% of them disappeared. And I've seen since then, and it's a year. Actually, it's over a year now. It was February 14th, I believe. We haven't seen but maybe 3. And I keep saying, lay eggs, make more little guys. Because they used to be, it was prolific with all those little guys. But I haven't seen them.
But now, are you talking about the little lizards or the iguanas?
The little ones. They're anywhere from this big when they hatch to. We've had a couple. Actually, you'll get a kick out of this. I have a neighbor who's rather creative. And in her garden, she had one that was about 6 inches long or more, including the tail. So it would be that's about 8 inches from fingertip to fingertip. And she named him Trotsky. And she actually, I think they used to have conversations.
We've got more snake information. I asked, I'm having a sidebar over here with Nat. What should we do if we see a snake? And she writes back, leave it alone. Do not touch it. Do not take selfies with it. If you identify it as venomous, call a professional. And Ricki, you'll be really happy to hear this. Texas has all 4 of the big baddies: rattlesnakes, copperheads, moccasins, and coral snakes. Florida has them too. Nevada just has rattlesnakes and scorpions. We'll have to talk about scorpions after another show.
Oh, boy, I have a story about scorpions. Speaking of scorpions in Texas, years ago, I was at a friend's house in LaGrange, Texas, which is between here and Austin, and it's kind of rural. She has a farm, and we were on her farm, and just a beautiful home and a laundry room. So I wandered into the laundry room. There were about 8 of us women out there for the weekend, and was about to reach for some of the folded laundry, and I picked up one piece of something, I don't know, a t-shirt or something, and right underneath it was a scorpion about that big. Well, they heard me scream in the other room and I wondered what it was. And of course, I didn't disturb the thing. But then my girlfriend who lived there, it was her scorpion, so she came and did away with it. But
Was it her pet?
no, I think it had just wandered in from outside. They do that. And the other scorpion story is I find it very interesting. One of my networking buddies who is from Colombia has a group of missionaries, basically. They also have dentists and other medical personnel who go to Colombia and to Mexico, certain places in Mexico, and they work with the indigenous people who have no medical attention. And in taking pictures of all the works that they were doing there, I'm putting in orange juice, by the way, in addition to the lime juice. In taking the pictures, they had a marketplace. They took pictures of one of the indigenous marketplaces, and he kind of went by it quickly, but these things were hanging, dried, and they were scorpions. And I said, "Oh, really? Did you try one?" And he said, "Yes, they have a kind of a lemony flavor," which I thought was really interesting. I don't know what nutrient or element of their bodies would have a lemony flavor, but that's what he said. So I might be brave enough to try those, but I haven't decided for sure yet.
Let me know how they are.
Yeah. Okay, here we have the salsa, which has mangoes and rice and lentils and black beans and orange and lime and onion. And we are about to add, since I like the colors so far. Wait a minute, everybody can see that. Let's get that out of the way. They're pretty. Now guess what we're going to add? What did I do with it? Oh. Ah, yes, take whisks. I always do. I'm going to add the cilantro. Now you can save some of it to put on top, and I just found the garlic. I put it on top, the cilantro on top of the garlic. So to avoid somebody chomping down on a whole piece of raw garlic, I'm going to remove them, the cloves, and just put the cilantro in. And this is from my garden, by the way.
Oh, how nice. You'll have to take us outside someday and show us.
We'd love to. It's fun. Cilantro, by the way, will grow like a weed. And I think some people consider it a weed. But it's wonderful because you plant a little bit of it, and a month or so later, you have a lot of it. And it survived the last bit of cold that we had that went into the 30s. But this here, we've got beautiful salsa. I'm just going to put that in a glass bowl so you can really see it, or actually on a plate. And I'm going to be brave enough to taste it. Let's see what else we're missing. We're missing nada.
While you're looking for that, we've got some more comments from that. It's about scorpions. They're fast and smart, and they can reach like 3 to 4 inches long. And you can eat all parts of the scorpion, Ricki, except the stinger. Do not eat that part.
Guaranteed. I'll take your advice on that one.
She writes, "I'll have the chicken, please. No bugs. Tried them, didn't like them." I'm with you, Nat.
Oh, well, I'm going to take the rest of this cauliflower and probably use it in a salad, unless I roast a lot of that too. But right now, I'm just going to put the salsa out on a plate for you so you can see how pretty it is.
Perfect. And I'm giving you the 4-minute warning.
We have
4 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Because what I'm going to do with the leftover orange is just slice it up and use it as a garnish, which makes things really pretty. And now I'm going to take, as soon as I rinse my hands off, I'll take the cauliflower out. You actually should roast the cauliflower for close to 30 minutes total. So it's been in there for almost all that time. And just to show you where I'm coming from, here's my little spiral book that you can purchase. It says everything tastes better with bacon.
That's cute. Very nice.
That's BAKIN. And we will take out, oh, beautiful. Okay.
And oddly, certain things grow well in Vegas. Cilantro, peppers, pomegranates, peaches. You wouldn't think it, but many things grow well in the desert. No, I wouldn't think that. That's interesting.
No, that's true. Yep, pomegranates, really? I didn't know that.
I was in Vegas. The last time was in 2019. I was running the for Team Challenge for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. And there's I forget what the path was that we took, but it was a 10K. And I decided when I started, I was absolutely not running because my ulcerative colitis was back. And then I thought, no, I came all the way out here. I'm going to run. And I did. And I'm glad I did. It was fun.
Good for you. Well, there we have it. We've got the cauliflower,
Beautiful.
which is curry, and the salsa, which I am going to taste. Let's see how all that came out.
Where's Richard, the taste tester?
Well, he just was here. He stuck his nose in, but not his hand this time. I'm sure. Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Yummy.
Interesting flavor combinations.
It does look delicious.
The cauliflower with the curry, and then you get the bite from the lime. And the one thing that I did forget to put in there, and this is an option, is I'm going to take a jalapeno pepper and cut about half of it because I have a long one, and dice it up really finely and mix it in. So it'll give the salsa a little bit more zing. And it's also, jalapenos are very good for you. When you first pick them, they're not really hot. They have flavor. As they stay off the vine, the longer they stay, the hotter they become. And that's usually what happens with most peppers. So here we have our roasted cauliflower with the black bean and rice salsa and lentils. And the mango salsa has that sweet and spicy and hot combination of flavors that really stimulates your tongue. And the curry gives you the anti-inflammatory part, and your cauliflower does that as well. So enjoy that with your favorite chilled beer, or I would actually put it with an ice cold glass of Pinot Grigio or even a margarita.
Ricki, what is the website, Patreon?
Pardon me?
The website for the recipe?
Oh, the website for the recipe. Thank you. It's patreon.com/Ricki McHealthy. It's RICKIMCHEALTHY. And guess who has arrived?
Richard, let's see it. Just the hand. That's all we get.
Whoa. There it goes.
Hi and bye, Richard.
Oh, well, I hope everybody has gotten inspired to use a little bit of cauliflower. It's in season. It's a wonderful vegetable. You can use it, as you know, cold in salads or just munching with dips, or you can broil it and roast it in it like a steak and use that for a wonderful, nutritious vegetarian or vegan meal. So any questions about that?
It's good.
It's good.
The man off camera yells, it's good.
Right. And if you really want to have some fun, go to Amazon and pick up the book. Yes, you can eat well and eat right and enjoy yourself and find the joy of cooking.
Thank you so much, Ricki. An absolute pleasure having you here. And thank you so much to Nat for engaging with us during the show, and for everybody else who's out there. And whether you're watching us on the live or the replay, I've said this before, but most views are after we stream live, which is great. That's what streaming is all about. Watch it anytime that works for you. So we are going to sign off for now. I will be coming right back in just over 10 minutes for the Listening Mentor Show with Caroline Heward, the Harley Street stress expert. So until then, have a wonderful weekend, Ricki, and also Richard and Nat. Thank you again.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.